In the last 12 years, 448 British troops have died whilst on duty in Afghanistan. Half of them have been killed by improvised explosive devices. Engineer regiments in the British Army have now become experts at detecting the so-called roadside bomb. They spend countless months training, and part of that takes place here in Jordan. This is Exercise Pashtun Links.
We've got about 750 people from about 35 different units across the army who will all come together to provide the bomb disposal and search capability as well as the wider engineer group in Afghanistan during Herrick 20. As you can see, this is not Salisbury Plain, and this affords us a really good environment for training before the guys go out to Afghanistan. And everything that we do here replicates that which we will do in theatre.
The exercise started in 2010 after training in the cold and snow on Salisbury Plain wasn't giving the troops the environmental experience that they needed. This is a training area like no other for the British Army. 285,000 acres of hard, tough, sandy terrain, just like what the troops will experience when they're in Helmand. And right down there, just behind me, is a mini bastion that the engineers build twice a year to make this exercise as realistic as possible.
It is a mini bastion, and that's what we set it up like, with the dress codes and everything else that goes with bastion out in Afghanistan. And us as their neighbours need to make sure that they're comfortable, they've got all the resources and stores they're required to facilitate to do their job. It is a challenge to get vehicles from all over UK through the port at Marchwood. We had to get 88 ISA containers and in total 317 line assets out from UK, Cyprus and Germany to here. It took my team a good 41 hours once the ramps went down on the boat to get everything up to here.
Last year, 5,000 British troops came through Jordan on exercise. But it's not just the benefits of replicating Helmand that brings them here. It's the strong relationship between the country's armed forces. Jordan, a country smaller than the UK but bigger than Scotland, is nestled in between various volatile countries such as Egypt, Israel, Syria and Iraq. But Jordan is regarded as a safe haven and generally has been peaceful for years. From 1921 until independence in 1946, the British had power and jurisdiction over the territory and helped to set up the armed forces.
The army was commanded by a British general, most famously Glubb Pasha, Lieutenant General Sir John Glubb, who commanded the Arab army from 1939 to 1956. In 1956, pan-Arab nationalism was sweeping the region, Suez Canal, of course, in 1956. And for that reason, King Hussein decided to Arabize his army. The British officers left over a period of a few years, but have continued to send officers and senior NCOs back to the UK on training.
The monarchy seems well respected in the country, with King Abdullah II reigning now for 15 years. Like his late father, King Hussein, he attended Sandhurst 30 years ago and created many strong bonds with the British in the process. Brigadier General Aswar Ayazla trained with him at the Officers' Academy.
Being in Sandhurst itself, it's something great. What about if you are having the training with His Majesty? I mean, that time when he was Prince Abdullah, it was very, very great. His Majesty was like any other officer cadets. He was dealing us like brothers, you know. Believe me, he took care of us very much.
The relationship between Jordan and the UK continues to grow, with the benefits going both ways. While we can make the most of the training areas in the country, Jordan generates £14 million for the Jordanian economy. And the Jordanian armed forces travel to the UK annually to gain experience from British Army exercises.
Britain means to Jordan a lot, and also Jordan means to Britain a lot. We had a heritage. We still have a heritage at the political level and in the military level. I think, to put it in short, I think we can depend on Britain and Britain can depend on Jordan.
Pre-deployment training for Helmand may be dwindling, but the strength of this relationship isn't going to fade anytime soon. I caught up with the British Ambassador of Jordan, Peter Millett, for his opinion on this special bond.
Wherever I go in Jordan, they talk about the fact that we were involved in forming the Jordan Armed Forces and creating the professionalism of the armed forces many, many years ago, but they still remember that. So I think that's the military relationship and our defence engagement are the foundation stones upon which we build many other factors.
Now, Jordan does let a lot of refugees in. It doesn't have a quota as such. Why is that?
Because the border is very long and very porous, but also the relationships between the people in the south of Syria and the people in the north of Jordan. They come from the same tribes, they come from the same families. So, especially at the very beginning, the first Syrian refugees who came across were welcomed as brothers rather than as Syrians. Now that welcome is wearing a little bit thin after 3 years. So it's our duty to try to help the Jordanian economy, help the Jordanian people deal with this enormous pressure of large numbers of people arriving in their country.
So recently Jordan has got a seat on the UN Security Council. How is that benefiting the country?
Jordan being a moderate Arab country and a stable Arab country, and a country with which we have that political relationship, means that we can exchange views very openly on the issues that are coming up at the Security Council, and on issues like Syria, humanitarian access in Syria, on issues to do with Ukraine. We found a lot of common ground. We share common analysis of most of the world's problems, and therefore we can cooperate very actively and constructively together on the positions we're going to take in the Security Council.